You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast, hosted by the founder of Better Beings, Michelle Zellner. Michelle's experiences have equipped her with knowledge and perspective, and for nearly 3 decades, she has been informing, influencing, and inspiring thousands on their journeys. This show spotlights guests of diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise, but they all align with Michelle's purpose and passion to help you be a better human being. There is something for everyone on their way to a healthier, happier life. Enjoy the show.
Greetings. Thank you for tuning into the Be a Better Being podcast. I'm Michelle Zellner, your host. This is the final episode of 2024, and I am so delighted that my dear Sasha has agreed to join me to go down memory lane as we reflect on this year. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Long time no talk. I miss you. It's been amazing. This year is a year that I never saw for myself, for sure.
Yes, we are going to talk about all the things because I think for both of us, I mean, for me, for sure, 2023, the universe was just like, all right, Michelle, we're going to test you. You think you're good. You think you've grown. You think you've gone on this journey and you're such a better being. Well, let's try it. And I mean, I'm not going to brag, but I am going to brag. I actually think I did pretty well given what 2023 gave me. That being said, 2024 was literally the complete 100% opposite times 10. It has been nothing but good and like great and like incredible. And I am going to celebrate that for sure. So let's talk about you. Can you go back to just January, February, March, like kind of where you were at, what was going on, and we'll go through the year.
Yeah. So in January, like I, took my January off of social media. I was really tired. So after Project Intentional's event last year in December, it took me 21 days to recover from that. Like it took me very long. There's nothing in this world that has like put me back where I'm just, and I almost want to say like I'm still kind of recovering from it today. But in January, I was out of social media just trying to figure out my ducks, how many I had still, if I had any extra ducks or if I had lost any ducks. It was just, I was feeding them. I was bathing. It was just too much. Like there was way too much going on. And then in February, we went to Hawaii, but like, I feel like January, February, March, really the first half of the year, I'm going to say I felt like it was like still the 2023 me. Mm-hmm. Like that 2023 cycle.
I mean, when I think about what you were doing and going through, I would agree with that. I think that's a pretty good assessment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You weren't able to quite wrap it all up into one little year. So it decided to give you a little extension.
Yeah. I had 23.5 for the first half of 24. Yes.
So my theme for 2024 was simplify. And it really, and a lot of people are like, well, what does that even mean? Just like do the easy thing. And no, that's actually not what it means. What it means is really think about, is this going to add value to my life? And even things that don't cost a lot in terms of your time, your money, or your energy, if it doesn't give you really anything of value in return, it is still a waste. Like it's not worth it. So there are things that cost me a lot of time, money, and energy. But I thought they would, and for the most part, they did bring me a really huge return on that investment. So when I think about simplify, it's really just be very particular, about what I'm going to decide to do. And yes, there were a lot of things that took a lot of effort, time, money, and energy. Like I said, for the most part, they panned out. One of them was doing my vision board workshop in person and virtually at the same time. I went to see my friend Nikki, who has a wellness clinic in Vernal, Utah, of all places. Never imagined I'd be traveling to Vernal, Utah in January. It was such a great weekend for all the reasons. And then add on top of it that she's one of my hometown gymnastics friends, reconnecting, seeing each other in person for the first time in, probably over 30 years. And it was just so much fun. There were Packer fans, of course, and it was like Packer mania going on. So it was just like, it was a great weekend. And then that was followed up by going to Alaska. It was the 100-year anniversary of American Heart Association. And it was at the Go Red events in Alaska in 2022 that I really got to get onto the big stage and do my keynotes and made just incredible friendships and connections there. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to Alaska. I'm sorry, that was February. What am I talking about? That's how excited I was about it. Just like fast forward to February. But yeah, like going to Alaska in February on purpose. And yet again, it was great to get to see my friends again and see some of the people at the event. And the event itself was amazing. And then March, it really started to, like, things really started to roll. I got invited to speak at this women's experience in Parker, Colorado. The chamber there has created this incredible program to help put women, business women, and entrepreneurs through this year-long growth and development. And I was invited to come facilitate a workshop. And I'm going to fast forward to November because I was invited to be at their graduation ceremony. Totally unexpected that many of the women specifically called me out, and they didn't know I was going to be there, but called me out that one of my sessions was one of their most impactful sessions of the entire program. And I was so, it was very emotional. It was just really cool to get to follow up and see and hear what they've done the rest of the year, because I was one of their first kickoff sessions. So definitely had a great first quarter. My mom and I went to Vegas in March trying to, do fun things, and Barry Manilow was performing, and, why not go see Barry? And honestly, he's a ton of fun. For an 80-plus-year-old dude, he can still perform. So we had a blast. And then, yeah, like I feel like both of us kind of, the spring is here now and the grass is getting green and the summer is getting right around the corner. Weather's getting nicer. What was like April, May, June like for you?
I really feel like I was just a completely different person. Like looking at her, she does not exist anymore. Whoever that was in April, May, June, I was still trying to do all the things for everyone. So like, I think when was my last podcast with you even? You know what I mean? Like that was the same transition time when I just like took a step back from everything. Like I gave up being the lead for Enable In at LinkedIn, which I had worked, all my tenure to get there. I was the global showcase lead for Enable In, which is an employee resource group, which was my favorite thing about the job. My second favorite thing about the job was they were letting me host. They're called social hours. So once a month, I got to throw a really big party for all my coworkers. And for example, the one in June, Ryan Rosalansky came to Omaha, which is the CEO of LinkedIn, and I got to throw the party for him. And it was amazing because I got to showcase all my talents. And, I was still running at that point in time 110 miles an hour. I was overexerting myself. I was at max capacity. I was working full time. I was still doing Project Intentional. I had just, started to realize I needed to like put my foot down, but I like was having conversations with God, and me, Sasha, the flesh, the ego was not cool with like, what do you do? What am I supposed to like? Hi, God, but you do know that I don't like to like not do anything, and I don't know how to rest, and I don't know how to slow down. And the only tempo I have is that little like rabbit super speed on the lawnmower. Like that's turbo. That's going to be me. And so I feel like the last time I saw that woman was in June. And in July, Stacy and I went and took a trip to Italy. And ever since I went and entered that portal or closed the portal or both, whatever, life has just given me like sign after sign that like, it's okay to rest. It's okay to quit. It's okay to say no. Boundaries are sexy. And I'll go more in depth into like what that means when we start talking about later in the year. But up until June, I was doing all the things for everyone. And I wanted to like supersede expectations from everyone, like everyone. I wanted to just show everyone that I could do it because I could do it because I can do it. So why not do it? Right?
I mean, that is the Sasha way. And this is something that I've talked to you about for years. And I think I even recall saying something like, yes, Sasha wants to do it, but Sasha's human would actually prefer to be cared for and would like to rest and would like to be nourished and nurtured. And I am going to tell you that when I saw your post about stepping back from all the things, I was like, yes, I was so proud of you for making that decision. It was like, yes, I'm so glad she's doing this because I know it's just only going to be better going forward. So, and I know how hard a decision those things are for you because you can do all the things, but I think you were realizing you can't do all the things and be a healthy, happy, high functioning human, mom, sibling, parent, wife, friend, because there is only so much capacity.
I feel like a lot of my transition, and I'm going to talk about this, I can do those things ish, right? Yeah, I can. I personally thought I could or was or whatever, but the why behind it changed. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, everyone felt entitled, like, to me going 110%. Like, there was not like a gratitude behind it. Like, one of the surveys last year after the Project Intentional thing, and like, you can get, I do not care. I tell this to small business, well, any business owner, any project owner, any project management. If you own something, if you're passionate about something, you can get 8,000 positive reviews and you could get one negative review and you won't even listen to a single thing that the positive review said. Like, you're just going to focus on the negative one. And that happened to me last year after Project Intentional. I got a feedback thing where, I mean, I'm telling you guys, it took me 21 days to recover. Like, when I do an ultra marathon and it's like 50 miles, I'm like, a day, like 21 back-to-back days. And the feedback was that was a lot of work for a Barbie and a Nerf gun. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that was a lot of work for you. Okay. And like, and so I just started to feel kind of like this sense of like expectancy from me. And it's like, okay, yeah, but like, I value you so much that I wanted to use my magic and my gift and I want to love you so much. But like, if it's not reciprocal, if we're not reciprocating, then I need to set boundaries for myself because you are right. I was getting to the point where, yeah, I had to reprioritize everything.
Yeah. And it's such a great lesson to learn, especially this early on in your life. I speak to people who still in their 50s and 60s, they're still not prioritizing boundaries. So I think it's a great lesson that you learned really early. I think when I look back at like April, May, June, they were really just more incredible months. My dad came for a visit for no reason other than to visit. Usually it's like, because I need help with this, or I need you to do this project, or I need you to rescue me from this disaster at my rental property, or whatever. But no, it's just like, no, Dad, just come visit and hang out, and I'll find a little project for you to do because Dad's a doer and he doesn't like to not do something. But just good to have some dad time. And then I got to do this really cool event for this very obscure club that you wouldn't ever know it exists unless you're in the club, called the Seattle Study Club. And it's this group of dental professionals. It's like a best practices kind of group. They have clubs all around the world. And I was invited to speak at their event here in Denver for their organizers meetings, and met some amazing people who, several of them to this day, are actual friends. And I don't know, business wise, it could turn out to be a big thing going forward, but super great experience. I got to do a little take on a session that I kind of created specifically for them, which just gave me another thing to get to offer in business. So anytime I get like an opportunity to do something where I have to be original and want to be creative and super tailored, it always leads to being able to offer this to somebody else that if I hadn't had that opportunity, there would have been no reason to create it. And then we went into May, which you invited me to speak at your Enabling session. And that was really awesome. May, as you know, is Mental Health Awareness Month. I can't remember what I counted, but I want to say it was like over 60 trainings on mental health awareness, which is a lot to do in 30 days. And I'm grateful to do it. And just to get to speak to your group was wonderful and to be invited by you. And then we had this event. So talk about like not simple. My cousin's daughter was getting married in Alabama, Memorial Weekend. And, hemmed and hawed, do we go? Do we not? It's long, it's hard trip, it's expensive, it's all the things. And we only wanted to do it if like all of the family was going to do it. And we got almost all of the family. I mean, we're a small family, but still. It was 10 people from 6 states. My parents, almost 80, my aunt and uncle who are, in their 70s, me, my sister, my cousin, my other cousin, my other cousin. And so we flew into Nashville and we had a couple of days there first. And we went to Alabama and a beautiful wedding, but mostly it was just about seeing family. And there was some family that, I'd never met really. I met them when I was 2, but that doesn't count. So first time that we were actually all together, and to reestablish those connections was really, really good. Me living so far, they're all on the East Coast, and me living far, it's always like, oh, it's too hard for me to get there. It's too far. It's too expensive, especially when I lived in Hawaii. And, you have other priorities too. Like, I'm going to go see my parents. I'm not going to go all the way to the East Coast to see a cousin. But to now get to come together as grown adults with a little more freedom and flexibility from time and finances, and reestablishing the connection, especially with my girl cousin, my cousin Bonnie, has been really, really great. Really, really great. And of course, the wedding was wonderful. And then June was just more amazing things. I took a executive leadership role for the American Heart Association Denver Heart Walk last year. I guess still this year, but for last year's Heart Walk. And spent all spring fundraising and doing all kinds of things. And we got to do the Heart Walk. And it was great to have everyone come together for that. And then I got to go out to Long Island to see my Cintas group, who invited me back for the 3rd year to get to spend time and help kick off their fiscal 2025 event. And what was super fun about this one was it was this all-day event at a vineyard, and then like post event. And so, getting to not just go in and do like a professional workshop for them, which is what I've been doing the last couple of years, but really getting to spend time one-on-one and like get to know them as people on a little deeper level. Because I'm that girl that once I present to you, like if we're together all day, we're now family. Like that's just kind of the way it is. Getting to see them 3 years in a row, it's a good connection. And a lot of people might not really understand that, but when I think about me, single, right, one sister, my parents, like I don't have a ton of family around me. I don't have like this always connected to things, especially because what I do so much is virtual, or I'm in and I'm out, right? There's not this consistency. So when I have consistency with people, and in a lot of my stuff, we talk about hard stuff, right? People open up about hard stuff, and that is something that really bonds and connects you. So when I have an experience like that, it tends to really kind of root in me. And I care about these people. Like I really want to know how you're doing and what's going on. So that was just a really great event. And then now we're in like the thick of summer. So July, August. I know you went on this incredible trip to Italy, and that was like a big like epiphany for your own transition. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, transition would be the best word to use. So at the end of June, they let me know that my job was going to be given to vendors in India, and they were going to roll me over to another team at work. And so I've been with this company 7 years, and out of nowhere, poof, they're like, by the way, come July 1st, and this is like the very end of June, like come July 1st, you no longer have your old position. So like what I love to do, which was consulting. So I like was very baffled, and I'm like, this is crazy. I have no time to digest it. But when I went to Chile, the day while I was away in Chile, they let me know I was going to get a new manager. And so it just seemed very fit that I got a new manager when I was in Chile, and then I'm going to Italy, and now I have to figure out another, job change. And so I felt like it was exiting a portal or entering a portal. And that's why I said that earlier. So when we were in Italy, I started to really think to myself about, my career, my next play, my career, what does that look like? And decided I wanted to pursue some internal roles at LinkedIn. And so went ahead and just put all my eggs in that basket, just the LinkedIn basket, because that's what my basket's weaved out of LinkedIn material. So might as well, right? And I went into the interviews and would make it to like the very last round, and it would be between me and another person. And in July, okay. So fast forward, while I was in Italy, I told myself, okay, I'm going to apply. I get home, I start to apply, take it on, doing all internal stuff. In July, I went to Vegas for a work trip. And when I was in Zion, we went to visit Zion. Sorry, this is super confusing. I get it, but hold with me. It will all make sense here in a second. I had told myself, if I don't get this job, then I'm going to quit everything. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry. What did you say? And they said, yeah, if you get this job in LinkedIn, you will continue to do and juggle all the things that you have been doing. Like, you will continue to move forward. And I said, okay. So when I got the call that told me that I didn't get the job, I was mortified. I couldn't believe it. Because I finally decided I was going to apply for another job. I had all these weird things happen to me before going to Italy. It didn't make sense. It didn't pan out with like what my vision for me from God would look like. Like, why would I be quitting all these things? Like, why would you not give me this job? I was the final two. Like, who in the world is better than me? And just like, why am I quitting? Why do I have to say no? And so I was really upset. I was really, really upset driving into Zion, like super upset, like toddler, fleshy, 30-year-old angry girl. I was like, I don't want to quit. I've worked so hard for this stuff. I was just super pissed, you guys. There's no other words to use. I was very upset. And so my friends wanted to meditate for a little bit. And like, the last thing I want to do when I'm very, very upset is meditate. So I meditated. And then within like 10 minutes of the meditation, I was like, I can't handle this anymore. I just need to check my phone. Well, when you're in the middle of a national park, you don't have service. So I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, look, emails are loaded. This is fantastic. I'll go through my emails. So I start going through my emails, and there's one that I open up, and my life will never, ever, 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 ever be the same because of it. Got an email that said that my gym buddy, the dude that I went to 4:30 class with, he was my meathead. We were peanut butter and jelly. Like, he would make all these bro jokes and pump and cheer me on. And he's incredible. Lost his life due to suicide. So right then and there, my anger completely dissipated. Like, all of it, every single piece of anger. At that time, I didn't even care that I didn't get the job. In fact, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fantastic. I didn't get the job. I'm going to quit everything. And now I'm just going to be so incredibly intentional with my time. I'm going to give all of this to my daughter. I'm telling you, it was like that moment when I was in Zion and I had read that my gym buddy, my meathead, had died by suicide. I decided that I was going to take that compromise that I made with God. I was going to quit everything, and I was going to be as intentional as I could with my relationship with my children.
It's such a hard tragedy for that lesson, right? And I mean, I think that's sometimes what it takes. And for some people, that's not anything you ever would expect. And I think that's the life lesson, right? Like, you don't know what is coming your way. And it is always beneficial to really think about what your priorities are, your time, your money, your energy, what matters. And obviously it's upsetting when things don't work out the way you want them to work out. That is normal. A job, a relationship, you move someplace, you think it's going to be magical, and then something happens. you have a certain idea for the way your year is going to go, and then it doesn't go that way. Of course, it's natural for us to get upset about any of that. And then sometimes God, the universe, whoever just wants to kind of slap you in the face and say, really? Really, this is what you're crying about? Really? Okay, well, here you go.
So I do want to use this moment to let everyone know that, if you need help or assistance at any point in time, you can always dial 988. What I had learned, one of the reasons why and I were so close is because we had talked about our mental health. I personally have been on medicine for the last 10 years. I will be on medicine for as long as my psychiatrist says so, and as long as I'm okay. So with that being said, my friend let me know that he had stopped taking medicine a year prior. Well, fast forward to where he was having a lot of trouble sleeping. And then, so he started a different medicine, or he started a new medicine, I should say. 3 days into it is when we lost him. And so one of the statistics that I did start looking at more about bipolar depression is that it is actually a 30% chance of a person with bipolar depression to die by suicide. So just know that you're not alone, seek help, continue to talk, and, seek medical help. Just know that you matter.
It is one of the more challenging mental health conditions. As somebody who's been around somebody with that as well, it's challenging for everybody. And I always appreciate how open you are and how open you've been about talking about it very openly with your own mental health situations on our podcast and out loud on social media. And that was a big thing of what you did at LinkedIn too with the Enable In. So yeah, we have lots of conversations on this podcast. I talk a lot about it as well. And it's just something that you have to decide that you're going to be tuned in to other people. And if you are the person who struggles, nobody can help anybody if they don't know. And hopefully we just keep having conversations and, eventually those rates go down. And honestly, the statistics don't matter, because if it's somebody in your life, it doesn't matter if it's one person or a gazillion persons. If it's the one person that then it doesn't matter how many there are.
Yeah, I know. And so I'll tell you, since I got that email that day, I have not been angry whatsoever about not getting any, don't care. Literally don't care, and it has changed my life. Just a complete, I don't want to say 180, but I will say probably like a complete 90.
Well, I'm gonna get to the time we just spent here in a moment and give you my observations on that. Yeah. So my summer, so July, was just nothing but fun. Honestly, very little work. In fact, I'm going to say this out loud. I've been thinking about this for years, that I really just want to take the month of July off of work, because I don't have that much work. And it's like I have an hour here and 2 hours there, and there's no point really. So July 2025, this is now out loud in the universe. I am taking that month off of work, not booking any kind of gigs at all, because there's no point. So this year, my sister was here. She stayed for summer camp, which most of you by now, if you listen to me, my favorite band in the whole wide world, the Nadas, come every year and play up in Evergreen at Little Bear. And my sister's never been able to go, just schedule-wise. It hasn't worked. Well, it worked out this time, and so much fun. I just love, love, love seeing those guys play, and just get to see them in real life is always fun. And for her to get to share that with me was finally super fun. And then with dear friend growing up, Michelle Hart, was here for a work conference and got to have some more fun with her. And then at the end of the month, my sister and I went to Holland and Belgium for a week. And just, I don't know, I think about like where she and I used to be. And we've been in a really great place for a long time. But I think about all the years that we worked, and I'm like, gosh, it's just so fun having a sister that you like, and that you get each other. Like, we're still not perfect, right? We still get on each other for certain things, but I would say like 95% of the time we just love each other, and we just have a good time. It doesn't even matter what we're doing. We're doing the stupidest thing, and it doesn't matter because it's fun because we're just together. So that was July, and then just into August, it didn't stop. My best childhood friend and her daughter came out for a weekend, and we went to go see One Republic at the new venue that opened up in Colorado Springs. And that was just such a fantastic weekend to get to spend with them. And her daughter is 16 and loves her Aunt Michelle. I keep telling her I am her favorite aunt, even though she has like a low blood aunt. Aunt Michelle is your favorite aunt. Just don't forget that. And then I went home for a few days and that was wonderful. And then like, it just didn't stop. And I every month I was like, this year is so fantastic. Like, okay, I mean, I know we got a few months left, but I don't know. And then it just got better and better. So September, I got to go to Naples, Florida. I was invited to speak at this women's conference and so much fun. I don't script what I'm going to say. I have like a bullet point outline of what I'm going to say. And there's nothing better than getting in front of 200 plus people who are loving your message and are super into it. And it just was one of those like magical experiences. And the people I met and the connections I made, and some of them, again, I'm like working with, I'm going to do more things in the future with, I'm connected as friends with them. I just feel like this whole theme of simplify has really just like added so much value in so many ways that I did not plan, did not think about. These weren't goals. None of this was like, I want to achieve this. It is just how it unfolded. And I really think it is because of being intentional, thinking about what's worth it, what's not. And, sometimes, doing the harder thing, because what's going to come out of that is going to be even more incredible. And then, September, oh my goodness. So after that, I got to speak with another group for this really cool organization called Inspiring Minds. It's just this local here in Colorado, Denver, where they do a monthly talk on different topics. And they wanted to kind of broach the well-being conversation. And I created an entirely new content because this was a specific audience of very, very high-level educated people. Not that all my audiences aren't, but these women are like Harvard educated, Yale educated, super duper high level executives. Like, and I'm like, okay, I better know my stuff, right? And I think it's going to end up being one of the favorite trainings I've ever created. I know it is because I had so much fun creating it and I learned a lot creating it and so much fun in conversation. And the session was really great. Turns out super smart people are still people who don't know everything. And so, that was a good lesson too, like the whole imposter syndrome that I know a lot of people have. You know what? You are probably still more of an expert than anybody else you're talking to. That's why you're the one that got invited to speak. And then I got to speak at talk about other super high level educated people, the Colorado Bar Association, roughly 80 attorneys. And they started this really incredible program. This Colorado State Supreme Court decided that because of the very high rates of burnout and depression and suicide and substance abuse amongst law professionals, they really need to start doing something to support well-being. So they created this program and they do this annual symposium, and I got invited to speak and do my permission to self-care. That's always fun. It was very engaging. Had some people in the crowd who, really played along nicely with me to make it fun. And then I got to speak at another one here locally in Denver, another national conference. And September, when I look at it from professionally, I'm like, that was a rock solid month. I loved that. That was a lot of fun. So yeah. And then here we are, right? Fourth quarter. So what was your October, November, December? Tell us about that.
So October 12th, I tried out for the Omaha Queens, which is an indoor women's soccer team, the first professional women's soccer, anything here in Omaha. So of course, when you look back, you're like, well, God, you didn't tell me that's why I had to quit everything. Right? So the place that I'm in and the space that I am and the person that I am today reminds me of like my very happy 7th grade self. I am allowing myself to like say no, be introverted, set boundaries, play a lot of soccer, and like just be myself. Like, it's just very nice. I feel like I'm sitting with a younger version of myself, and somehow also an older version of myself while being myself. And we're all just like, the three of us are healing, and it's fantastic. And like, Angela will be like, God, you're so happy. And I'm like, it's because I have soccer in my life again. It's just, I never realized how much it is a part of me. I've never taken such good care of myself. I've never stretched so much. The place where I am physically and like mentally and spiritually and emotionally, I cannot even start to begin to tell God how thankful and full of gratitude I am for the ability to have a human experience in this moment, experiencing these things as a 37-year-old woman.
And it's only going to get better. As a 2-year-old woman, I can tell you it's only
I know. That's what's so dope. Like, I love it. I love when it's just so empowering. It's so empowering. But I also have to like take a step back and like be so thankful for whatever it is that's in my core that loves well-being and loves health and has always been driven or on a mission to do all the things that your backboard says. You know what I mean? So like, I'm very thankful for all of that, because if I wouldn't have been doing all of the things that I have been doing for the last, like, I didn't know what I was training for all these years, but here I am, 16 years. So I did the math, and then I will stop oozing and drooling about my soccer. But from the time I started playing until I got kicked out of college, it was 16 years. And from the time that I got kicked out of college to right now has been 16 years. So I trained for the same amount of time that I have been mourning the loss of the sport. And I have never been so excited to wake up at 4:45 in the morning, ever.
I mean, when you told me what time practices were, I was like, how's that going to go? I think, Sasha, you highlight how important it is to do things that bring you joy, right? That I know a lot of people put their things on the back burner because they're busy doing everything for everyone else, and to the point of Project Intentional and Lit and do this event and do this project and spearhead this group and do all these things. Well, there is not a lot of time for Sasha's joy when you're spread out in that way, right? And I know that is the life that a lot of people live because they feel like they should do all these things or they have to do all these things, and there is no time to do the things that are good for them. And yet there is time. You're just choosing to do things differently. And when you get to do something that really is for your spirit and your soul, it benefits everyone and everything around you. So I mean, when you told me about this soccer, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so the way it's supposed to be.
I know. I just don't get it. It makes me want to cry. And I just am sitting there like, what an opportunity. Like, and to give you guys some insight on this women's team, this is the healthiest team I have ever been a part of. I'm talking professionally. I'm talking sport-wise. I'm talking all the sports, all the teams that I have ever been a part of. I look at God or whatever, close my eyes and look at him. And I said, oh, you would give me the healthiest team that I've ever been a part of, a team that wants me so badly to be a part of right now at this point in my life.
And I just think about how lucky they are to have you, because I know what they're getting. So it's incredible. Yeah. And, just, I don't know, every time I reach a birthday, I do a lot of reflecting and down memory lane and all the things. And October I mean, gosh, talking about just more great stuff. So my best friend and her daughter who came here in August, when the football schedule came out last spring, we saw the Packers are playing in Jacksonville. They live in Jacksonville. I'm like, oh, am I coming? She's like, yes, you are coming. And so, yeah, I went to Florida at the end of October to go get to be spoiled in luxury to go to the Packer Jaguars game, but also to be with her family, her whole family, her dad and sister and mom, who I haven't seen in decades, were also there. So it was just like bringing you back to some childhood roots. Just there's just something very, just it just always makes me feel really comfortable and just a lot of fun, and just to get to be part of their beautiful chaos, which I always am like immersed in the beautiful chaos. And because I'm kind of like family, I just blend and mush in, and it's great. And it was a delightful way to wrap up the year or the month, and then we're in November, and I mean, so there's a couple of things. So simplify, right? Let's go back to that. I'm not really looking to add things to my life. I really am not, like, to physically add things. Well, I actually stepped into something that I vowed never, ever, 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 ever to do. And that is to align and affiliate myself with a wellness product. So back in August, my friend Cinderella posted something on Facebook about these amazing new wellness products. And I'm like, oh, I got to know about it because it's my industry. So I asked her for the information. I took one look at it and I was like, whoa, really? This is really amazing. Like, if this is real, this is unreal. And the more I learned, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I think I'm about to do something that I vowed never to do, ever. And I did. So align myself with Make Wellness, these new amazing nutraceuticals, bioactive precision peptides on the business side as well. But from the personal side, why this is November, because we finally got product in November. So August, September, October, we're just learning about it. We're hearing about it. We're seeing testimonies from clinical trials, and we're just like jonesing for it ourselves. And finally it's here. And November was just an unreal month. And what it also, like, talking about adding layers to your life, like me doing this has invited all of these other people into my life, a lot of them already in it, but just strengthened and deepened connections, because now there's like even more of a reason to talk about things. And just that unintended benefit of saying yes to something that I would normally never say yes to, and how many other layers of love and joy and abundance it has given to my life is like one of those, like, oh, that's right. Yes. Say yes to things you normally say no to. I've done that a couple of times this year, quite honestly, and kind of all in like fourth quarter, which is very interesting, right? So my mom comes for a visit and we have another just lovely time. And then I go home for Thanksgiving and celebrating just the love and health of my family and how lucky I am that I have, near 80-ish. My mom won't let me tell her how old she really is, but we'll just call her 80-ish. 80-ish-year-old parents who are still amazing and, still healthy and happy and love us and each other and my sister, and getting to go spend time with their best friends who, I've known my mom's best friend since I was very young. And it just like really taking it all in and not just kind of overlooking it, but truly being an active participant in the event and in my own experience. And then getting to celebrate my birthday weekend with you and with your family. And again, just being in the midst of the beautiful chaos is, yeah, I know people get all worried when they have a visitor and they have a guest, and like, there is nothing that you could do or say or show me or anything that would make me judge or feel any kind of way other than I love you and thank you. And this is amazing. And that weekend, I mean, just getting to watch you interact and interface, I see a completely different you, 100%. And I love all versions of you. I love this version of you more than anything else, for sure.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that feedback. And it's funny because I am so, like, before I had to have every minute of my day planned and like fast, right? Like I'd hang up here and I'd go here and I'd go do this and I'd go do that and I do that. So it was like always like strategically timed. And now I don't have that. So I'm trying to slow things down. As a lot of the feedback that I got, one of my best friends, Anna, she's like, I think slowing down is going to really help you. And like, she didn't mean like, slowing things down. Like she meant like me and like my process, like everything. And so tapping into slowing down has really helped me tap into my feminine energy, my breathing, like there's just so many benefits to it. And so I'm in this place where I don't recognize the old me, the one that was before that email. And I don't have any desire to go back to that person, which is very cool to see that growth can happen in such a short amount of time. I'm also extremely addicted to creating new nerve pathways. So that's a problem of mine. I do not ever think I'll ever seek help for it. I love challenging myself. One thing, if you guys want to challenge yourself, that I did this last quarter, start brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. It's as easy as that to create new neuron pathways. The more you do that, the healthier your brain will be.
Excellent tip. I love that. Good pro tip. And December, like this is our closeout, episode for the year. And I know like December's off to an amazing start, and I'm going to be going back to Wisconsin. I was like, oh, are you going to Hawaii at Christmas? I'm like, when the girl has melanoma, it's just kind of not something you really do anymore. And a lot of people are like, why? I don't get it. And I thought, you know what? I can't right now. Like, just go read about it. Like, it'll be fine. Not to say I'll never go to Hawaii again, but yeah.
Too soon. It's just too soon. It's too soon.
Not a thing. Really excited to do Christmas in Wisconsin, 10 days in Wisconsin. Yes, I'm excited for it. And then January will be here before we know it. And the virtual vision board workshop is here again before we know it. So people, save the date, January 11th. The link to register is in the show notes. I have another incredible lineup of speakers. I'm really excited to get to introduce to all of you. And if you've not been part of this event, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. The plan is also to go to Vernal again, to my friend Nikki's. Unfortunately, there is no easy flight anymore, so I'll be driving, and so it will be definitely dependent upon Mother Nature, but we're just going to send all the good vibes out there that it'll be perfect, and it'll be super fun. So, yeah, I'm looking forward. December's been a very full month of work, which it didn't used to be, so that's different. Still it's been a couple of really full schedules, and I'm ready for a break and just to go home and be and work out and do all the things and just kind of have a little bit of chill time. So how are you finishing out the year?
For Christmas this year, we are not doing gifts. We're going to go to Puerto Rico as a family. So we're going to go there the 26th until the 1st. And then I come back, and January 4th is my first home game. So for those of you that are listening and you're here in Omaha, I hope to see you at Baxter Arena on January 4th for my first soccer appearance since I got kicked out of college.
That is so exciting. And
Very.
I can't wait. Denver's in the running for a team. And I don't know who I need to go talk to, but I really hope we get one so you come here. That is awesome. I love it.
Otherwise, you'll have to come see one of the games in the spring.
Sure.
So.
Yes. This past November was not my last trip to Omaha. See that. So that is it. What a year. What a year. And I feel like 25 is going to be a continuation of it. Honestly, thanks to you, had this amazing session with Astara, and literally all the cards and everything just confirmed everything I've been talking about for the last 4 months about what I planned for 25. And she was like, yep, it's in the cards. You're on the right path. So I already have my word for the year, my theme. My theme is make the moment. I'm going to make the moment. That is my theme for 2025. So listeners, if you need to kind of give yourself a blueprint for how you want the year to go, I encourage you to come up with a word or a theme. It really is such a great guidepost to help you figure out what you're doing, right? Because it's all about being intentional. So that is it. Sasha, any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, it's been a pleasure being back on. It has been really amazing to see my life change. And if you guys are going through something where you need to brag and you don't have anyone you can brag to, can you just like tell us? Because I need to know. I want to know what other good stuff is going on, and we want to support and we want to cheer you on.
Yes, I absolutely endorse that for sure. I always am wanting people to let us celebrate you, and don't forget to celebrate yourself. I think that's something we don't do enough of. So I think that's a great note to end on. Everybody, thank you. We celebrate you for listening to us. We are headed into year number 4, which is also a little astonishing for the girl who vowed to never have a podcast. Here she is going into year number 4. May be able to convince Sasha to come join me occasionally next year as well. But planning on another lineup of great guests for 2025. So appreciate and grateful to all of you who continue to listen, and that I know you are all out there being better beings. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. We hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.